This has been my biggest project I've ever attempted in my life. What you're looking at is a 1991 NSX. Well, I guess you could say we're looking at the shell, the bare shell of a 91 Acura NSX. Now, I always wanted a first gen NSX, an NA1 NSX with the flip up headlights. For my birthday 2 years ago, I bought this car. Now, this thing was 100% complete when I first bought it. And then 9 months ago, I decided to build my dream car. So this is now turning into a fully restored NA1 NSX with a K-Series engine and 2 turbos hanging out the back, which you can see all the parts for the NSX sitting right here and right here. A few weeks back, I got this thing fully painted in Grand Prix white. The paint job turned out absolutely phenomenal. I'm very, very excited with the paint on this car. And now today, we are gonna start reassembling this entire shell. The goal for today is to get the power plant, the rear cradle, and the turbo kit sitting back on the car. We have everything laid out here. The rear cradle, the entire turbo setup, and the power plant. Now this is the final assembly, so there's not going to be any more mock-ups, no tearing it back down. With that being said, when this motor goes in, I want it to stay in for good. There's a few things that we need to get on the motor before all of this goes in the car. I have a new ATI crank damper. We need to install a few sensors, the oil control solenoid, because once this is in the car, the frame rail is going to be in the way of getting all of that installed. A lot of the sensors are back on the engine. Now we need to go through and do something about this because it's pretty crusty looking. This is the oil control for the VTC. For starters, we don't need this. This is the oil pressure sender type deal that we don't use. We can go ahead and block that off. I'll get this piece cleaned up and that should look really nice. This guy, I'm gonna go ahead and repaint. After a few minutes of scrubbing on that guy and a fresh paint job on that, both look freaking brand new. This guy is nearly ready for installation, but we need some more hardware. So this is another batch of hardware I sent out to Save on Plating down in Arizona. Now this is going to be a little more difficult to sort, as I sent this out and had it replated probably about 4 months ago. Let's get this thing opened up, and just like the last batch, I'm just going to go ahead and sort it by thread size: M6, M8, 10, and 12. Did just a rough, quick sort on all the hardware. So a bunch of brackets here, a lot of front suspension hardware for all of this stuff that we have to go through down here, a ton of castle nuts, M6, M8. The reason I needed to sort all this now is because a lot of these are bell housing bolts that we need for that. The power plant is back in the car. Let's move forward and get all of this installed. The whole rear cradle is now installed. One axle is installed. I still have no word on the other axle for the passenger side, but now we're going to go ahead and move on to the funnest part of this entire car, which of course is this, the entire twin turbo setup. The majority of the turbo setup is now installed. That was nice being able to install, I guess, what you'd consider the up pipes and the turbos all in one unit. Now, when I had this kit built, I did see a lot of questions regarding these right here. So basically the thought process behind these rods and these flex bellows is this. Of course the motor moves, it's not solidly mounted. The turbos are mounted on the chassis, solid mounted on the chassis. So in order for this to work, we needed some flexes. Now flexes typically under boost don't work the best. So we added in these rods with heim joints so it can still flex, but only up to a certain amount. This is theory. We're hoping this is gonna work. If we have to make some adjustments later on, that's not a big deal. We're pretty confident this is gonna work up to a pretty high amount of boost. This car will probably be seeing around 30 to 40 pounds of boost, and those hopefully should hold. I guess we'll see. Next up is our exhaust. Now, before I go ahead and install the floor, I do want there to be a gasket in between the floor itself and the trunk pan. I did find some of this 1-inch width rubber gasket that has adhesive on one side. I don't have enough to do the whole thing, but if this works, I'll order more. I think this is gonna be perfect for what we're trying to do. Gasket that I had was 1 inch wide. It was way too thick. It was going to stick over the edge. So I went ahead and ordered a 1/2 inch, but I decided to install the floor anyway, trying to figure out if I want to paint match it white or leave it silver. I think this guy is going to be paint matched. And of course the air to water cooler is going to stay looking like that. Now before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the spring pressure inside of our gates. One giant advantage of this setup, the location of the gates. As you can see, they are very, very easy to get to. We're gonna start off with a 10-pound spring in each gate, and we're gonna be running a 4-port instead of a 3-port, so we can increase boost pressure with the 4-port. And if we need to increase the spring pressure as we're tuning, that'll be very easy to do. So currently it's a 14-pound spring. If we do a pink and a black spring together, that'll give us 10 pounds. These two little guys together. That's a 7 and that's a 3. First day back to work on the twin turbo NSX. A ton of progress has been made. Very, very, very excited with today's progress and to get back to work on this car. I'm gonna be working steady on it until I run into another roadblock where I run out of parts. I'm sure that's gonna happen. That's just the nature of the beast with these kind of builds, these kind of in-depth projects. It's impossible to know everything you need until you need it. Then you order it, you wait, and you continue on.